Hey, hi, hello. Good evening. Vroom vroom. Yeah, gonna be time for vroom vroom tonight. Hello, Sarah's Scald. Welcome. Thanks for checking me out, and hello to everyone else. How's it? How are you all doing tonight? Yeah, welcome to the middle of the week. I hope you all been doing well. Me, I'm feeling pretty amped because, getting ever closer to my kind of, I guess, the end of summer trip it is now, so. But it's gonna be a bit of a drive. Evening! Yes, good evening to you, Molecular Shadow Fox. Good seeing ya. Good morning! Hello. Alright. Good morning to you, then. Hello. Good day to everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Alright. Yep. Guess what? It's Wednesday. We're back to Project Cars. Actually, got a bit of a change this time because we got into year 3. Chose the Formula C discipline, and yeah, hopefully we'll get to check some of that out today, huh? Or tonight. Wouldn't that be exciting? So without further ado, let's get in here. Say Formula C, but we're gonna go in here and do some classic GTC cars. So just do our usual run of qualifier to race. Nursing a sprained shoulder, but otherwise good. Oh man, I wish you a good recovery on that front. Yourself? It's been actually been a pretty good week. I managed to figure out a problem that has been kind of been gnawing at me at work for a little while here, so that was satisfying, right? It always feels nice when you're finally able to find something that works out. Right, like it does so with the plum too, right? It's not like some sort of temporary fix or hodgepodge solution. No, it's a legit thing that is solid and just gets the job done. So that was pretty cool. Ah, this rain, on the other hand, will probably bit of rain on my parade, but hopefully this means there will not be rain during the race. Might mean I have to try to fight through a few positions, but you know what? I'll take it. Yeah, I caught the outer corner of my trailer at work and bang, pain. Ah, God. Oof. The worst when you just inadvertently hit your body on something just all unexpected, like, and it just like full force. A jolt. Thankfully, nothing. I never hit anything as bad as, like a large object with my body, but I had a friend who had like a door open, right? They were like leaning down to get something, and then they stood up, and fortunately, they kind of smacked into the corner of the door. And they kind of had to get like a bandage for for it afterwards. So yeah, oof. That one hurt pretty bad. I imagine, because they hit the door and they kind of knelt back down for a bit. So I was like, oh no. You could kind of tell something was wrong. Oof, yeah. I think there was another time I was watching my nephew. This was like a few years ago, and he was being like super energetic as usual, and then suddenly he kind of like flopped down on me and started crying. I was like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" And I guess he must have hit something because, again, he had like a pretty bad wound on his back. And I was like, "Oh boy." Thankfully, we got that treated up, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good for the rest of the time. So. Still, it's just you see something like that, it's like, all right, we gotta take care of it right away, because it's gonna kind of get worse if you don't. Worst are the conservatory doors with the windows that are damn near invisible. Oh my god, you just like walk into them, right? You think oh hey, look, an open doorway, and just like bam, you smack into it like a bird. Although it's worse for birds because, sometimes they don't survive. Sounds painful. Yes, it does. I imagine this is very painful. I don't know, I think probably most of us has experiences like maybe stubbing our toe on something, or maybe stepping on a object that maybe is a bit more smaller in surface area. Or you just like smack your shin or your elbow on something, and it's like yeah, ooh. Yeah, that just kind of it shoots through your body, and they're like, oh man. Your body lets you know right away. Yeah, you made a mistake. You absolutely made a mistake. Human versus furniture moment. 100%. Then afterwards, you're just like making sure you're stepping really carefully, probably looking down a bit more off it than you used to. Just like, yeah. It's like your brain kind of remembers the experience, and it kind of shapes you for a bit. Or maybe it shapes you for a while. Maybe it shapes you for good. My coffee table is like that. Got one of those thick glass tops. Oh, man. You're talking about, like, just like a really, really wide kind of surface and no legs on it, so... Sorry, kind of hard to tell where it is. The shins shatterer. Oh, man. It looks great. It looks great, but... Yeah, it's tricky to maneuver around sometimes if you're not paying attention. I don't know, for me, the probably irrational fear of just having it shatter all of a sudden would prevent me from getting like a pure glass top piece of furniture. That's just me, though. I'm sure everyone else would probably love it. Oh, and I imagine the maintenance would probably be a lot too. Imagine you have to clean it up pretty frequently to make sure it, looks nice and clean and clear. For sure, the base is a V8 engine block. Oh, okay, that sounds pretty cool. Suppose it fits for a bit of an automobile enthusiast like you. It's fun. It's fun when you can repurpose things like that into pieces of furniture. Gives your place like a bit of a unique feel. I think I know someone else who's like working on renovating a house right now so that they can live in it, and they're talking about how they have to get like a whole bunch of furniture that they build themselves because it like works out for them that way, and they can put their own personal touch on it. So that's pretty cool. House parties is like get a coaster, right? Make sure you wash your hands before you do anything near the table. And yes, get a coaster for your drinks and the snacks. I think during my parties, that was like the one thing, right? No matter, it was like either me or my siblings, we always kind of made sure that everyone cleaned off their hands before they went off to like, play video games or board games and stuff, because we don't want the controllers or the game pieces to get mucked up or anything like that. Certainly paid out dividends, because I think most of our controllers are still functional, even to this day. Yeah, they're not all weird and grimy like some other folks are. Maybe a little off color due to sun exposure, light exposure, and all that, but works fairly well. Cheese and controllers, you're gonna have a bad time. Oh yeah, especially if it's like that shredded cheese. And don't even think about, eating anything greasy and then going right to the game center afterwards. Nah, you gotta wipe your hands down first, at least. drinks, obviously. Keep them in a safe spot. You know, well away from any of the consoles. Put a pile of serviettes out just in case. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Alright, I think I got one more lap. If everything holds, I'll be in the top 25%. Which I guess is pretty good, but let's see if I can get that better. When was the last time you went out to a party or you hosted a party? Kind of random question, I know. I guess for me, if it comes to like an actual party, might have been a while actually. I think most of my major events for the past few years have just been like gatherings. At least I'd call them more gatherings. Right, gatherings amongst like the family units and everything. Worst part is waking up next morning to a disaster area. It's like called the hazmat team for a cleanup. Thankfully, I don't think I've ever had anything get that out of control. Yeah, I was always scared, right? When the TV shows or the movies showed like the wild teen party, right? You see all the kids just going hog wild, doing whatever they want at some person's place and just generally causing a nuisance. And of course, there was always the aftermath bit where, yes, everything was a mess, and then the kids would have to scramble to try to clean everything up. And, you know, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I guess for better or worse, I've never had to experience that. Alright, race day, and look at that, nice and clear. Our theory kind of sort of holds. Last Halloween was the last proper one, but friends and I got together frequently for dinner parties. Ah, nice. Sometimes having those more low-key gatherings are nice too, right? You don't need to make a big deal out of everything. Just sometimes you just enjoy the company. Room parties at cons, yeah, they're an experience. Certainly had that a lot. When I went with my one friend to a con, they always like to bring tons of alcohol, and you know, they would have friends over a lot. And thankfully, when I was with them, they never got too wild. But I've certainly seen their posts on Facebook when they go to like other cons, and I'm just going, man, they really went wild there. You get that one friend that's like, parents are away for the weekend, party at my place. Yeah, enough booze to sink a ship with. That's also the scary part. If your party gets too rowdy and kind of upsets the neighbors, and then they either try to end things for you, or maybe they get authorities to try to end things for you. Or like the double scary part is when you're not the one who wants to party, but someone's like, hey, this person's away, this person's folks are away, come to their place for a good time, and then everyone comes and, you know, does their teen thing. Yeah, I'll look out the window in the morning, see a load of bodies sleeping in the garden. Several of them on the floor, maybe a few on the couch. Maybe if you're really unlucky, get a couple in the bathroom. I don't know if I'd ever reach that point. If I ever reach the point where I just get like so absolutely plastered that I just lose all sensation and then just like wake up many hours later and have no recollection of what happened beforehand. It's funny when you read about it too, because they're like, yeah, as you consume more alcohol, right, more of your brain kind of reroutes the power to, like, you know, the essential parts to just keep your body functional. So eventually, yeah, you will kind of lose, like, the memory centers and the sight and all that. Top of the car, that was me once. Oh man, that's like a dude, where's my car moment right there, right? You just wake up in like a Vegas hotel room and you got like a tiger in the spa, and that you're wearing like a funny costume, and you gotta go out there and kind of retrace your steps, and then you realize there's like some sort of alien plot happening or something, I think. Yeah, do you not remember shows video on their phone? Oh man. Oh man. That would be the other thing too, right? It's like, oh boy. Maybe in my subconscious I might make decisions that I would not do otherwise, right? Yeah, draped over the bonnet naked, like, what happened? Oh boy. Riddle for the ages, at least unless someone kind of divulges that information to you. I think I've had like exactly one instance of seeing like a person get so absolutely plastered they were just out of it. They were just like sitting there in the seat and they kind of just like staring off into space. Still very much alive, but they really weren't doing much else. That was like the point my friends and I decided, all right, yeah, probably time to go home. We'll kind of take this guy to his place and drop him off, and I was like a bit of a gremlin back then too, so I just like stuffed a bunch of his pockets with straws, and my other friends were kind of telling me later on, it's like, yeah, he woke up and was wondering why the heck he had so many straws in his pockets. I'm like, I suppose as far as gremlin antics to do to someone else while they're drunk go, it's far from being the worst, but I guess I still feel a little bad about it. If it's not that, then it's always something to do with a traffic cone. They seem to show up a lot. I wonder if it's because they're just like easy to take. They're bright orange and it's easy to kind of wear them on your head like a hat, or pretend they're like a arm cannon or a megaphone or something like that, maybe. Another rainy qualifier. All right. Sounds like lights are on, but nobody's home moment. Yeah. Drawing on them while asleep is always a thing, too. Guess my friends were too good for that. Maybe for the better. Oh, we're in ad mode. Enjoy the ads. No, I keep on meaning to, like, going over to Seribot and see if I can change, like, the, hey, ads are on message, because I don't know, that, the default one seems like a bit forceful, right? Huh, weird. Seribot's not saying there's ads. It did say it was, it joined the chat, so must be like a settings change or something. It's probably have to go over there and see what I can fiddle with. Because I was on some other people's streams and they had some nicer, kind of like ad break messages. I want to use one of those. welcome back from Adland, everyone. What happened? Well, you ended up having a shower with such and such and then passed out on the sofa together. Oh man, oh man. That would be the kind of... That would be the kind of story that would just like maybe go, oh boy, oh no. Suppose you would probably catch a hint of it when you woke up, though, right? That spreads like wildfire, yeah. Like any sort of instance of seeing like two people together usually gets the rumors going. For better or worse. For me personally, I'm like under my position is, you know, I'm just gonna go, yeah, they're probably like really good friends, right? You know, unless they come out and say something like, yeah, we're partners or we're going out or something like that, I'll just go, yeah, all right, they're very friendly with each other, right? I don't know, if life has taught me anything, it's that assuming assumptions can often be incorrect, so I will usually just err on the side of caution most of the time. Friends with benefits, maybe, yeah, there's that too. Yes, absolutely. Again, it's possible for people to be just friends. Of any gender, right? You know what's funny, what I read about a lot, the whole, you know, childhood friend convention that usually see in media, right? As long as you get on and stuff, no probs. Yeah, exactly, right? As long as they're cool with each other, then I'm cool with it. But yeah, whole childhood friends thing. It feels like in the, you know, movies, games, and stuff, always there's always like some sort of romantic element involved to it, and I have to admit, I kind of enjoy that aspect too, but at the very least, I read a lot of stories about how that isn't quite like as much of a thing in real life. Like, you know, people who are childhood friends in real life tend to be just more like platonic friends, right? Because you think is like they see each other as siblings, so the idea that they could be like, you know, romantically involved doesn't quite, you know, come to them, or they just like reject that notion a bit more wholly. I just find that funny because, you know, media really loves to play up the idea of these two people who've known each other since they're kids, and now, they realize, they are so into each other. Such a trope in visual novels that indeed it is, right? You always got to have at least the one childhood friend character. And there's always going to be some element of romance to it. Whether or not it follows through, it tends to depend, right? Sometimes you get the route with them, and other times they just end up not being, you know, the romantic partner in the end. Two people always together. Folks are like, are they a couple? Yeah. Even more so if they're different genders. Which again, kind of just like swings back around to, hey, they can just be friends. It's fine. So in front for like rain to no rain to rain. That's pretty much like average weather around here anyway. Just like the intermittent rain. You get like rain, and then the rain stops for a bit, and then it starts raining again. Very rarely do you get like a whole day's worth of rain. It happens, but it doesn't happen a lot. Then you get that pressure of adults always like, do you have a girlfriend yet? Yeah, people seem to assume that, oh, getting a partner is going to be the default. At least these days, there are some people who are like increasingly beginning to realize that, hey, maybe some people just like prefer being single, right? They prefer kind of like, you know, only having to worry about themselves, and that's fine, right? Certainly there's benefits to only having kind of, you know, one person to work with. That being said, if I am able to maybe, like, sometime down the line, I do want to get a pet. It'll probably be a cat. I'll probably get a cat, but that'll be, like, far in the future. I don't think I'm, like, quite equipped to take care of a cat just yet, but maybe once I'm, like, a bit more settled down, I'll go, see if I can adopt a cat. Cat was gonna be my first guess. Yeah, most cats tend to be pretty chill fellas, right? You know, there might be some that might demand more attention than others, but for the most part, it seems like they can kind of, you know, have fun with themselves, and if they want to play with you, then they're pretty cool if you want to play with them too, right? They have the life of Riley, sleeping all day and doing their thing, yeah. Life as a pet, it's gotta be nice, right? All you gotta do is just like walk around and, you know, get your food when your human dispenses it to you, and then maybe demand a bit of cuddling here and there, and of course your human will very willingly reciprocate. Because everything you do is gonna be mega adorable. Ooh, look at that fog. Thankfully it's not extremely thick fog, but definitely visible. Oh yeah, and annoy them by walking over their keyboard when they're gaming. That's usually like their kind of tipping point where they're like, no! Like, human, please pay attention to me. Pet me, cuddle me, love me. I demand attention now, human. I was watching a video of someone working, right? They were working on their laptop, and their dog just like suddenly comes up and they try to, and they like press their snoot onto the laptop lid and try to close it. You know, the person tries to kind of open it up again, but the dog keeps on doing it, and eventually they're like, all right, fine, doggo, you win this time, and then they go cuddle the dog. Yeah, they're like, hey, notice me! Yes, they make it very apparent when when they need their affection from their human. I do think dogs are like a little bit more aware than we give them credit for. I remember one time I was visiting my cousin, and my cousin's friend was over. They had their dog over too, and you know, we were given her, right, we were given the dog, like a whole lot of head pats. But I was only patting her with one hand, and you know, she just looked at my other hand, and then kind of put her paw on my other hand. And it's like, hey, I see your other hand is not doing anything. How's about you use that to give me more head pats? Double the head pats for maximum head pat efficiency. Super amusing, that was. Mine would put his paw on your lap over and over again if you didn't do anything. Yeah, I knew a dog that was like that too. Yeah, they would walk up to you, kind of look at you expectantly, and if you didn't do anything, eventually they would put their paw on you, like, hey, I'm here, do you see me? Like, alright, here you go. Or rest their head on you, yeah. Why are pets resting their heads on things so adorable? Seriously, the way they would just kind of put their whole head on the object and just give you that expectant stare. I think I had this like small trend on YouTube Shorts, I guess, kind of threw them at me, but it was like this trend of like people putting their hands in a circle and having their dogs walk up to like their circle and try to put their snoot through it. That was pretty amusing. It's like a usual mix of dogs who didn't understand quite what was going on and other dogs who understood the assignment and put their snoot through the hand circle pretty neatly. Ah, it was fun. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Ah, cool. It became a thing with the fursuiters too. Nice. That's surprisingly appropriate. That's fun. Another trophy for the trophy wall. Let's go. Fantastic work. Great qualification. 2 in a row. Oh yeah. They're loving everything they see. We're going back to GT5, baby, round 4-4, so we're going to wrap this up and then move on to March. Just going to get out here, get some more driving done. Oh man, it's a clear and sunny day. I am a little bit apprehensive. He sat on the sofa, the next thing you get kicked because he was kicking his legs dreaming. Ah man. You're always hoping it's like a good one, right? You just hear your pet just like make some noises. I always find those things hard to tell. Are they dreaming a pleasant dream, or is the dream like maybe a bit more harrowing from? I wouldn't want to disturb him anyway. I feel like you should let your dogs have a proper night's rest, right? Like how humans need to have a proper night's rest sometimes. Probably dreaming of chasing wild rabbits and stuff. That would be a good dog dream right there, I imagine. Maybe they happen to hop on the table and find like the juiciest meats and they're just feasting away on him. Or they found like the bestest pillow ever and they are just waving it back and forth and watching all the feathers fly. Have you ever come home to a pet that's done that? That you like come home and you see like your furniture is just or something is like just in shambles, and hopefully not, but I know I've seen some people who have pictures of that or who have talked about that. Right, they come home and they're like, oh man, suddenly we see this pillow is just like on the floor and there's cotton everywhere. Best pillow for them is usually their human. Indeed. Indeed it is. Nothing better than a warm body to be next to, right? I knew a dog who was like that. Anytime they wanted to, like, go to sleep, they would usually just, like, get right next to a person and then just, like, cuddle with them. They really just like having a warm body next to them. Luckily, that never happened with my dog. He was a good boy. He just greet you with the first thing he could find to put in his mouth. Oh, it's like a peace offering. Or it's like a welcome present, actually. That's pretty cute. When they understand customs, too. They try to emulate their humans and their ways. You're home! Yay! It can be pretty funny, just like how accurate pets can get with just like the schedules of the humans, right? They'll like be able to be aware of like about what time time it is to feed, or time for certain people to be present, or things like that. I know some people joke about how their pets are their alarm clock, right? Because they will always get them up at a certain time. Come hell or high water, they will get that done. Which I guess makes it doubly funny if you're in a region that does the whole daylight savings thing. And of course pets don't account for that, so suddenly you're doing things like an hour later or an hour earlier because your pet's still operating on the same internal clock. Ungodly hour o'clock, yeah. Wake up to a snoot in your face. That's probably gotta be a fun thing to wake up to, though. Just wake up to like a face full of dog or cat or, any other pet. Do you know anyone, or have you ever, like, kept a pet that you don't see people keep often, like, something other than cats and dogs? I knew someone who, like, had pet ferrets. They were always interesting to hear them talk about. Like, yeah, man, it's like having a bunch of noodles, right? Have a bunch of noodles, kind of living with you. Fun in its own right. Although they did say that ferrets get pretty stinky, so I guess there is that. It was fun seeing them just like put down a bunch of tunnels and have the ferrets just like race through them. A friend of mine in high school had a Burmese python and an iguana. Ooh. That must have been fun. Sure, it was like a good conversation starter, too. Yeah, what pets do you keep? Oh, yeah, I got a Burmese python and an iguana. A lot of ways you can kind of jump off from that topic, too, right? Like, oh yeah, what kind of habitat do you have for them? Or like, how do you take care of them? How long can they go without food? Not that you would actually do that. Always been partial to those blue and yellow macaws. Oh, right, yeah, birds. Bird pets are fun too, although I imagine they must be like fairly high maintenance. Especially since they can fly, right? That just adds like a whole extra dimension to like where they can go, and it's gotta be a lot of fun. I think one of my relatives had a bird. I forgot like what kind of bird they had exactly, but I remember going to their place and just like seeing the bird kind of just like perched on their perch and looking like they're having the time of their life. I like the big birds, like those big snowy owls and eagles and stuff. Oh yeah. They are absolutely majestic when they're in flight. Especially cool when they're, you know, in their habitat doing their thing. Especially the birds of prey. Right, you just like see them kind of swoop down, like grab their dinner, and then go back up with their poor catch and tow. Right. I guess seeing like the smaller birds doing their thing is fun too. You know, seeing birds just like chicken flowers or trees for the foods they eat, what have you. Steal salmon from the bears. I don't think I've seen that, but I could totally see that happening. The kind of thing that would absolutely make for a cool shot in a nature documentary. Certainly give all the props to those folks who get those shots right. There's a famous parrot here that lives in a pub and it just insults and swears at everyone. That's fun. Like a tamer version of, hey, say the funny thing. Because, hey, they're an animal, they'll just repeat it, and you can have your fun with it and not worry that you're corrupting the youth or something like that, right? Right, off the race day. Just get it done. Pray for no rain. That is nighttime, right? Not just like extremely overcast day. If I had a large house, I'd so have a fox. No, I'd expect that, right? I'd expect that for you. I've seen people kind of interact with foxes. It's kind of funny, right? Like, foxes that are friendly tend to... They act a lot like dogs, which I guess makes sense because they're kind of share... I forget what they share, but they're like pretty close to dogs, and it's just funny seeing them kind of do their thing, right? You make them happy, and they just like start doing their chirping barks at you. Yeah, that laughing they do when you pet them, having the time of their lives. Is there a study out there as to why animals like head pats so much? I wouldn't be surprised if there was. Probably just has something to do with like having a lot of, I don't know, I guess nerve receptors around that area, so if you pet them gently in that area, then they're just like, yeah. Kinda triggers all the right centers in their brain and makes them really happy. That's my guess anyway. I'm not sure if that is the case or not. Always like when foxes do the happy face. Yeah, that good old face. Any pet that just like, you know, has their eyes closed and their mouth like open, right? See their tail wagging and everything is like, ah, yeah. You know, they're super happy when that happens. Well, I went a little too fast there, but thankfully it was not the case. Oh, maybe I oversteered there. And there. It's not even raining. What the heck me? It's okay, we're not cooked just yet. You know what really gets me? It's when like people put up videos of them taking care of animals at like zoos or animal conservatories. When you see them like you know, like go in to take care of like say a lion or like you know, a panda or a walrus or something like that, and you just see them like behave like a big old pet, and it's just, oh man. Oh, wow. Timing for that ad break. Alright. I'll see you in 90 seconds. Oh, now Seribot puts up a message. Okay. I wonder if that's like a bug, or if it's only does that on like the top of the hour now. Or like every other ad break if you're doing like 30-minute stream, 30 minutes per break or something like that. Which reminds me, I still haven't turned off coin flip either. I should probably do that. Personally thinking maybe I could turn that into a channel point redeem. Pay like 50 points to flip a coin. What purpose does that serve? I do not know, but hey, I guess you could say that for most channel point rewards, right? Yeah, it's all fun bucks in the end anyway. Here we go, another trophy for the trophy wall. Ba-boom. Huh, I must have bombed out on a race. Great qualification, thanks. all good till they get full size and can overpower you. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, you know, their handlers probably kind of run through the procedures like, okay, you know, make sure you know of their behaviors and know what you can do around them and what actions you can take. Because, you know, certain ones they might perceive as threatening, and other ones that will, you know, let you know that everything's good. And yeah, that is true. You never know when they just snap. Sometimes you can do everything right, and something will still go awry. That is unfortunate, but it's how it be. If I remember correctly, there was like a really old movie. I don't know, for some reason I remember it, but it's like this family like goes on a trip or something. I think they see like some sort of cub that they take home because, ooh, cute baby animal, and then it kind of grows up to be like a, you know, an adult. I think it was a lion, maybe, or a tiger. But they realize, oh, wait, yeah, we probably shouldn't keep this anymore, and they go return it to the wilds. And, of course, it being a movie, everything's hunky-dory. And we know in reality it wouldn't be hunky-dory, but hey, we'll give them that, you know, right? I've seen how deadly those elephants can be when they get riled up. Oh, yeah, no, I imagine, right? Elephants are big, and they're heavy. Yeah, it's just, You ever see that Burning Bright? That woman is trapped in her house with a tiger that escaped from a local circus. Oh, God. Is that like a movie? Sounds like it would be a thriller. Because, yeah, that would be terrifying. Yeah. Figured as much. Right, we're with this animal, right, that could easily just overpower anything you throw at them. Right, doesn't matter what you put in the way, they will eventually just get to you if they feel provoked enough. Caught it on Horror Channel one night. Ah, I see. Yeah, that sounds like that it would fit there. Okay, let's go to Brands Hatch Showdown one-off. Don't be messing with the biggest cat. Yeah, don't be messing with wild animals in general, because they could probably get one up on you. We already talked about this, but yeah, it's funny just like how many people don't realize that. They think all animals are just like cute and cuddly, but no, why would they ever maul me? Surely they know that I am one to not be mauled, and everyone else is like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Even more so if they have cubs with them. Oh yeah, don't mess with the little ones. That goes for all animals. Every single one of them. They will defend their offspring with their life. It's like the one thing they say about deer, right? You see like a baby fawn somewhere, it's very likely their parent is close by. You probably don't want to mess with them. I can imagine those antlers will mess you up bad. Oh yeah, no doubt about that. Certainly got the capability, then they will probably use them. To great effect, I imagine. I think there are a few animals out there that do see humans as like legit prey and will come after you. Right, even if unprovoked, they see you and they will come after you. Right, whereas most other animals will probably just like, you know, try to defend themselves. These animals will actively hunt you down if they see you. I remember a polar bear being one of them. It's kind of funny when you think about it. When you think, oh yeah, polar bear, they look, oh, big, cute, and fuzzy and everything, but no, they will, they will actively hunt you down if given half a chance. So, you know, you see one come after you, you find a safe spot. Yeah, don't mess with bear tick, especially don't mess with bear tick. Right, you thought a regular polar bear was scary enough. What about a polar bear that can just, like, launch all sorts of ice powers at you? Oh, man. Or Ursa Ring. Yeah, there's that, too. Thankfully, Ursa Ring is normal type, right? I say thankfully as if it's going to be any better, but, you know. A bear without ice powers is still a bear. They are still big and strong and can, like, you know, can, whack you silly. Yeah, okay. Like 7 feet tall when they stand up. That's like around a bear's height, right? 7 feet. Or maybe they can be taller. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them can be taller. Yeah, swipe from those big bapper paws and it's game over. And they got claws on them too. Right, the weight, the force of the paw alone would probably get you, but it's the claws that would probably really do the damage. I think there was like a mnemonic that was there for like the worst case scenario guide of what to do against a bear, and I think it was like if it's brown then you go down, if it's black then you fight back. I think that's how it went. Right, if it's a brown bear, just try to play dead, be still, and if it's a black bear, then you gotta try to, you know, assert dominance. Right, try to fend them off some way or another, because they're gonna come at you. That's what I've read anyway. Don't quote me on that. Luckily, we don't get dangerous stuff like that here. Probably a relief, right? It's like, yeah, don't have to worry about bears. Then again, most people probably don't have to worry about bears. I mean, I imagine for some folks, right, depending on where you live, bears might be a thing you might have to actually contend with. Right, no doubt. You've probably seen videos of bears just, like, coming into human locations, right? They, like, come to someone's backyard, or they'll enter someone's house, right? Like, eat all their food, go into the pool for a swim, have fun on the slide. Right, something like that happens, and you're like, alright, give them all the space, they can have whatever they want, until they can do whatever they want until they leave, and then you just, you know, just go ahead and assess the damage from there. Those Highland deer would mess you up, I can imagine. I bet they're pretty fast when they're threatened. Pretty strong too, I imagine. Like, I had someone tell me that, like, if a deer kick, you might as well, like, be taking a knife, right? You might as well be getting a knife hurled at you. I've seen one just rip open a convertible car to get the food. was like a tin opener. Yeah, if they want something badly enough, they will be able to get it. And all you can really do is just let them, because look, you're gonna fight back. Is it really worth that much? Probably not. Imagine for most people, probably not. And anyone else who thinks so, they'll something Darwin, right? Yeah, be up there with a horse kick. I think someone said that. Horses are like super. They're like massively built muscles, so a kick from them would be extremely forceful and would probably kind of mess you up. Reminds me of Jackass when they covered Steve-O with honey and sent in a bear. What the heck? What the actual heck? I mean, did he have on an extremely padded suit at least? Nope. Ah, you know what? I guess that's on par for that series. Just a pair of jock shorts, perfect. I'm sure it makes for some great footage, though. /S, in case you were wondering. I did read somewhere about someone who was trying to create the ultimate bear-proof armor. It was like this armored suit you would put on. It would withstand a ton of force. I think I saw someone have a video of they were hurling a whole log into it, and the worst happened. The guy fell over, but they talked to him afterwards, and he was like, "Yep, I didn't feel a thing, and I feel just fine." Still don't know if I'd use that suit to encounter a bear at all, but I guess it's funny to think about. Could something like that have practical use? Maybe. Maybe. I'm sure someone will try to invent a use for it, if nothing else. One of those dog training suits, but turned up to 11. Wait, they make something like that for dogs? I could see that, though. I could see that. Especially if you're dealing with a dog that likes to bite a lot, and you're trying to train it to not bite, but they're gonna bite, and you want to try to minimize the injury that'll do to you. So get one of those suits, and you'll be able to absorb plenty of bites. It's all fabric and padding, but yeah, full suit when they're training police dogs and stuff. Ah, I see. Okay. I guess that makes sense. In that case, you would want them to bite. Alright, race day. Let's get this one and done. One and done. It's actually a little bit hotter and a little bit more humid than it has been for the past few days. It was oh man, weather's finally cooling down, and I can finally kind of, be out for longer than 30 minutes at a time, but I feel like it's starting to get back up there in temperature. Maybe it's one final hurrah for the weather before it transitions to fall temperatures. I guess it's fine. Enjoy one more fun time in the sun. That's a whole series here. Dogs with jobs. Ah, that must be a lot of fun to watch. Sounds like something you could get a decent number of episodes out of. What other dogs with what other dog jobs have they depicted? Imagine one of those, probably like rescue dog, right? In the more snowy regions, like bring them out, try to look for people who have been stuck in the snow, and then rescue them. Cadaver dogs, sniffer dogs for drugs, bomb dogs. Oh yeah, all those cases where their enhanced abilities of scent would come in handy. Do they do like guide dogs as well? Like you know, do like how they train dogs to help for people who might need like a physical aid, right? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Nearly always the same breed here for guide dogs. Huh. I guess when you kind of figure out what you need to do to kind of train them, that it works out. We have hearing dogs now too. Whoa! How do they work? Like, what sorts of functions does a hearing dog entail? Imagine they hear certain sounds and they're kind of trained to react in certain ways, right? I'm guessing that's what they do. Yeah, okay. Like, maybe if a place gets too loud, maybe the dog is trying to train to recommend their human do something one way or another. Phone rings! Yeah, okay, that's a good point too. For anyone who might be using a landline or might not have their phone in their pocket. Do they also, like, cover emotional support dogs? Like, you know, the dogs that they usually come by to folks in hospitals and just let them, you know, give their patients a bit of a morale boost. That's like the kind of thing you can end an episode with, right? We got one more dog job for ya. Here is a support dog. They go around and brighten people's days. Put a smile on my face, that's for sure. We have horses for support too. Oh! Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I can see you get like a friendly horse in there and will certainly brighten a lot of people's days. Go around nursing homes and stuff. Fun. I imagine they have like a whole variety of support animals. Not just dogs and horses. I wouldn't be surprised if they do cats too. Might do some more out there animals too if they can support them, I imagine. Like, it would be pretty fun if someone had like an emotional support ferret service. Right? You need someone who could use their day brightened by ferrets. Call them and they will come over with their ferrets. Oh, wow, that was the race. There we go. Boom! Another one done. Put it in the books, baby. Another trophy. Start of a streak. Great qualification. Thanks, y'all. What's next? Lotus class of 86. Didn't we already do this? Can I just like jump to my next event? Can we go to the Supercar US Super Club Sport Trophy practice? There. I'm glad that you can just like skip events if you want to. Alright, no penalty to you. Alright. I don't know if we've done this before, but we can do it again because we're driving supercars. Yeah, baby. They're not such a big thing here, seeing as guide dogs are usually the only animals allowed in shops, etc. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the state of, like, emotional support pets is here in the US, but... yeah, definitely probably heard of the stories about how people have declared the wildest of animals their emotional support animal. Can be a bit of a bummer because, you know, there's some people who might legitimately have need for that, and you know, all these other yahoos kind of mucking things up and making the process harder for everyone else. That's how some folks are sometimes. They see an opportunity and they will not pass it up, right? They'll jump through every loophole they can, contort every which way to kind of get the maximum amount of benefit with the minimum amount of effort. Or, you know, sometimes they do it because they can, right? They do it because, hey, there's nothing here that says I can't. And that's why some sets of rules tend to be extremely overly specific, because some folks will push that to the limits and will do anything they can. Right, they will do everything they can, but while still staying within the letter of the rules, right? Rather than the spirit, they are very much about the letter. Can imagine it'd be a big hassle if you went abroad with the paperwork and animal passports and stuff. Oh, yeah. I imagine transporting an animal overseas is a whole lot of extra work that you have to do. Yeah, I think so. There was a streamer I watched who had, like, a dog, and they moved to Japan, but their dog had to stay back because they need, like, additional vaccinations and test run, I guess, to make sure that, you know, they'd be proper treated in Japan. So, yeah. I think it, like, was the whole extra process, like, 6 months before, their dog would be able to go over with them. So, yeah. Lots of extra work you gotta go through for them, but it's what you do, right? It's what you do. Do it for them, as the Simpsons might say. Nothing easier than playing the victim for some people, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the thing, isn't it? Some people will kind of take advantage of, like, the way other people will behave and work it to their advantage. Ow. If you don't mind me switching gears. Anyone see the Nintendo Partner Showcase / Indie World presentation on Tuesday? Boy, howdy, did they come out swinging. You kind of see why they put them both together. It was just like a whole lot of stuff in there, especially if you're like someone who's an RPG fan. They got games for days for them. Not just like remakes and remasters, but a couple of new original games too to keep an eye on, so that's pretty cool. I didn't. Ah, okay. Yeah. I mean, they had some other stuff too. Some of the stuff that stood out to me was like, Balatro got an update. Or that poker-like roguelite I played a few months ago. They didn't do too much with it. They just added like new card styles that you could kind of put into the game, right? Based on The Witcher, Vampire Survivors, Among Us, and Dave the Diver. Pretty wild. Witcher of all things. CD Projekt Red was like, yeah, sure, you can use our characters for your card faces in your game. The trailer was great too because they animated it to like have the references from the home game, so that was pretty fun. It's great because those devs teased like 3 things and they've revealed 2 so far. One of them was like a major gameplay update for next year. The second one was the crossover card styles, and they haven't said what the third one is, but I am looking forward to what other cards they might have up their sleeve. Pun intended. Oh, Power Wash Simulator announced Shrek DLC. You know, I find that like absolutely fitting. Although it's pretty funny, you'd think, you know, something like Shrek, all the stuff would be coated in, like, mud or dust or something like that. Nah, it seems to be all very rainbowy. Some sort of substance like that. It's funny because they changed the power washers to, like, I guess, be more fitting for the universe, so they all look like knights instead of, like, you know, guys in full coverage suits. Which I guess, it works. It's funny. Okay, good thing this is qualifying. Oh yeah, another surprise. Peglin 1.0. Didn't think it would ever get there. If I remember correctly, that game was in early access for the longest time. I think I took like one look at that like last year, but glad to see it's at 1.0 now. I'll probably go take another look at it now and see what else they've thrown in there. Certainly had fun from what I played of it. Ooh, there was also Tetris Forever. Seemed like a whole celebration of everything Tetris, so they're gonna have like, you know, a bunch of styles related to the visual styles Tetris had throughout the years. They said they were gonna have like documentary and videos and footage and stuff to kind of talk about the history of Tetris and everything. And oh, we're in ad mode, so yeah. I guess I will hold that thought for now. Glimpse over at the list real quick to decide on what other games I want to talk about because, oh my god, there are so many to talk about. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you've ever been on YouTube, there's like this one emote they have. That's just like a face with its mouth open, and you see like, you know, the tongue doing that thing that it does when it looks like someone's screaming. It's kind of like that. I'm kind of like that right now. I'm just like, oh man, what do I want to talk about next? Surprised with all the branded DLC for Power Wash. I'm kind of surprised by that too. Crazy how many crossovers they've gotten. Like, yes, Tomb Raider and Warhammer. They were just the surface, right? They were just scratching the surface. Now we got, you know, Final Fantasy. We got SpongeBob. We got yeah. There's other stuff too. I wouldn't be surprised there's even more properties coming over. But I guess there's just like something inherently satisfying with just, you know, watching all your favorite things, right? And it probably goes like triply so if you know, if it's a property you like. Lasted a lot longer than the Lawnmower Simulator. That hype was high, then it just died off. You know, I think that it's funny. I saw some people try to stream that game, but apparently it's like an absolute resource hog. Yeah, they try to play Lawnmower Simulator and everything just like goes all stuttery. It's pretty wild, actually. You imagine that's like even worse when someone has like a VTuber model up. That's like stuttering in 2 points. Kind of a shame, because there's probably something you could do with that, but I guess they weren't able to optimize their game quite a bit. Came out and everyone was playing it, and then it just sort of disappeared. Feels like a lot of games do that in the streamer space. You'll see like one of them become like the flavor of the month, and then they kind of, you know, they move on to something else. Y'all remember content warning? Remember how like it seems like everyone and their dog was streaming that? Until they didn't. You know, some people still stream it, but it certainly isn't like as frequent as it used to be. I guess if you really want staying power, you kind of have to be first to the scene, and then you have to update regularly too. I guess you gotta have like a pretty decent meme game as well, right? You gotta know the memes and how to use them and be able to recognize them at a glance. Will you be picking up anything from the Steam isometric sale? Probably not. I've already picked up like a couple other things, actually, so none of them were like isometric games. There's one particular game I noticed that was on my wish list that was like 80% off, I think, and so like the price was like $2. I figured, you know what, probably good as price as any to pick it up, right? And then like their DLC in total came to like $4, so I got that as well. Like, hey, you know what? It's a good deal for me. Took a quick look, and one of them looks like it'd be fun. Ah, cool. Which one is it? Maybe I will take a look at that sale, because there are a couple like board game-like games that tend to have that sort of isometric viewpoint, so maybe I can pick up a few of those while you know, the getting's good. Quasimorph? Sounds like a puzzle game. That's like my read from the title anyway. I could be way off base. That could be an action game too, now that I think about it. Oop. I didn't mean to run into them. Ah, well. It's okay, I'm still pretty close to first and second. That's all I really need. Quasimorph is a mix of classic turn-based roguelike RPG with a unique extraction twist. If you die, you lose everything you took on the mission. If you survive, you keep everything you looted. No exceptions, no excuses, no mercy. Oh yeah, okay. This is a bit on the harsh side, but I could see that being an appeal to certain crowds out there. The whole you lose everything aspect is like, sounds cool, don't get me wrong, but you know, I didn't realize is that like Steam's little fests that they do, right? The fests that have like some sort of theme around them, like deck building or shoot 'em up or like turn-based or things like that. Since they had like the whole schedule for the year out, I checked it out and I was like, oh wow, these are like happening almost every other week. It's a bit wild. Kind of funny too because they always offer up like a small selection of free point shop items, and I usually grab those. Even if I don't end up using most of them, it's like, hey, you know what? They're free, right? Like, what's the worst that could happen? The top-down view gave me Loaded vibes. Nice. Yeah, but apart from their, like, bi-weekly fests, of course, there's also a bunch of other sales that other companies will usually hold. Like, I know there was, like, a Wholesome game sale not too long ago because they had that Wholesome Direct. Amongst other things, right? And obviously there's also going to be publisher sales, where a publisher just might put all their products on sale for a period of time. You know, maybe some other group will just decide to have a sale because they can. It's time they had a fighting game sale. Did they have one? I thought they did. Maybe that might have been like a third-party sale. I'm almost certain I saw something like that, and they had things like like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus on that list, even though Grand Blue Fantasy Versus wasn't on sale. Or I should say Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising. You know, Vanilla Versus probably was on sale, but Rising, on the other hand, most likely wasn't. Oh, 3 rounds. Street Fighter was on sale a while ago, yeah. Oh, right. Might have been around Evo. Could have been around Evo they were on sale, right? Feels like the most appropriate place to have a fighting game sale, right?
Go, go, go.
Yeah, Street Fighter was on sale. I imagine for their first anniversary and for Evo. If I remember correctly, it was like half off too, so it would have been a pretty prime time to pick it up. Speaking of Street Fighter, that was like one of the other things they announced during the Nintendo showcase. Was a Capcom Fighting's Collection 2, and boy howdy did they come packing with that one. Capcom vs SNK 2, both Power Stone games, Project Justice, Capcom Fighting Evolution, Plasma Sword, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper. Oh yeah. It's like all the kind of out there fighting games that maybe you'd wish Capcom would give some love to, and here they are giving them some love. It's like, yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's some weird omissions in there, like why Capcom vs SNK 2, whereas Capcom vs SNK 1, but still. OMG, Street Fighter Alpha 3 was my jam on Dreamcast. Nice. I saw someone speculate that that those might be the games that they picked because, like most of those games they were like on Dreamcast and I think it was like PlayStation, but it was like mostly Dreamcast. So they didn't have to put in as much emulation tech as they would otherwise. So I guess cool. Always loved the spirits for the Alpha series. Wasn't Alpha series the one that had like the sort of quasi RPG mode where you could like equip skills and stuff? I remember reading about that like in the instruction manual. Oh, sprites! Okay, sprites. Yeah, the sprites were great too. Probably said it already, but man, I miss sprite-based fighters. Shame that not many games do them anymore. To be honest, I think it's like really French bread that actually does serious sprite-based fighters to any degree these days, right? At least Arc System Works is trying to do like, a quasi-sprite style with their 3D models. And it looks great, too, so they got that down at least. Admittedly, it was like a lot more novel with Guilty Gear Xrd. Now it's just like their house style now. Still looks great, but you've come to expect it. That does make me wonder, though, if Capcom vs. SNK 1 does come out. Will that just be a standalone release, or will they have to will they try to kind of put that into another collection somewhere? Maybe it'll be like a collection with their remaining Capcom vs. games. Like, here you go, Capcom vs. SNK 1, and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, and wait, what other versus titles have Capcom had that weren't in the collection yet? BlazBlue sprites look amazing too, yeah they do. Although I remember when people reading about, like, people were saying how they were like a bit more difficult to incorporate into like a crossover fighting game like Mugen, because the sprites were like at a higher resolution, so they had to kind of pull some stuff to get them to fit into other games, which amused me. Hey, you do what you gotta do, right? Street Fighter vs. X-Men. I thought that was like in the one other Capcom fighting collection, though, right? The one that has all the other Marvel vs. Capcom games in there. Or at least the Marvel fighting games, right? Or did they not have that? Not sure, to be honest. Okay. Because I remember they were talking about that beforehand. They might. I know that also had a spot in the showcase. Feels like it would be criminal to not have that, though. If you're gonna have like a whole Marvel Fighters collection and not include Street Fighter vs. X-Men, like, bruh, what? Clearly, you want like the whole timeline in there. That's probably one collection I'll try to pick up as soon as possible, because Marvel games are weird and they get delisted after a few years. Because I know they put out like Marvel vs. Capcom. They put out a Marvel vs. Capcom Origins collection on Xbox 360 and PS3 a long time ago, along with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And guess what? You can't get them anymore, so yeah. When it comes to Marvel games, get them while you can, because they won't stick around forever. This makes it a minor miracle that Midnight Suns has been around as long as it has. Thought for sure that would have been gone by now. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I still say, is the best of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Certainly had like a lot of characters. You can certainly, especially if you got like the version where you had the lock stuff, there was certainly a lot to kind of chew on there, right? I remember their point shop. I remember going to training mode, just letting that run for a couple of hours, and then ending it, getting a whole bunch of points, and then using that to get a lot of colors and stages and what have you. Getting that ultimate team together, yeah. Everyone from the 90s era that you know and love. If you really wanted to try hard, Storm, Sentinel, Magneto. Cable, pick 3, right? Pretty sure they were like the Power 4. You get the right combo of people in that triple super was just insane, I bet. 3 people coming out with their wide-hitting beam attacks and just racking up that hit counter. Everyone likes seeing a multi-hundred hit combo. Just listening to that announcer yell, "Marvelous!" Sure was marvelous. I particularly enjoyed Marvel vs. Capcom 3, though. Like, the sort of cel-shaded comic book style they had for that game was fantastic, and I felt like just fit the game completely. Not to mention the bit of a comic book motif they had towards everything else. And the roster, I thought, was really inspired as well. Right, they had Deadpool and X-23 and MODOK and Super Skrull, I guess, in there to kind of represent the Fantastic Four powers. And then on the Capcom side, you had Beautiful Joe, Amaterasu, Arthur. Yeah, they went well with their wild picks there, too. Shame the boss of that game was never playable. Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was like the only game that never let you play as the boss, right? Because one let you play as Onslaught, and 3 had the Galactus mode at least, so yeah. Admittedly, you know, there's not much you could probably do with Abyss, but I don't know, still would be fun as a side mode like they did with Galactus. My boy Shumagorath later added, yeah. It's funny just like how this would normally be like an obscure Marvel character, but Capcom keeps on pushing for him. Marvel's like, alright, fine, have him, I guess, but he can only be DLC. Oh yeah, Albert Wesker. Oh, to that note, also Dante, right? And Virgil. Oh, and Ultimate, right? Ultimate came out later and had some truly inspired picks for like the expanded roster. Yeah, Firebrand, Strider came back, Nemesis, Frank West. Yeah, and then on the Capcom side, they had Nova, Hawkeye, Doctor Strange. I almost forgot about Doctor Strange. Oh, and the one that I kind of turned around the most on, Phoenix Wright. I'm kind of ashamed that like before he arrived in Ultimate, I was like, so against his inclusion. It's like, oh yeah, Phoenix Wright, he doesn't fight. Why would you put him in Marvel vs. Capcom Fighter? What would he do? Get punched in the face? Ah. But they made him work. They made him work in Ultimate. I'm like, you know what? Okay, maybe I was wrong about this. Yeah, put in all the characters. Doesn't matter where they're from or if they fight normally or not. Just put him in. Because he was pretty cool in Ultimate. And it felt very Phoenix Wright-like, right? Like how he never directly assaults the player. He's just out there playing Phoenix Wright, and the opponent's just getting caught up in his antics. That's like that's what it amounts to, really. And the Ultimate, where he just takes that you, drains you of your health because he got all the evidence he needed. Took them long enough to put Shuma Gorath in a Marvel film. Well, again, his popularity in the video game space is probably disproportionate to his popularity in the comics/movies space. Like, if you're not talking about Marvel vs. Capcom at all, I imagine Shuma Gorath is probably one of the lesser talked about ones. Even funnier is that he's like a completely different fella, right? Like, what I've read, Shuma Gorath actually is much, much larger than he is in Marvel vs. Capcom, right? Guy's like a little octopus-sized munchkin in Marvel vs. Capcom, but nah, in the comics, this guy can be like the size of planets. I think, right? Planets. In any case, it's pretty funny to think about. I mainly know him from Marvel Superheroes on PS1, where it all started, I imagine. Yeah, in the comics he's planet-sized. I figured as much. And the guy's like basically an eldritch god, if I remember correctly, right? He's usually the kind of fellow you don't want to see. Yeah, he's one of the old ones. Ah, okay. It is funny to think about, though. It's like, yeah, explains why his super is the Chaos Dimension. Probably. It is funny how, Jill and Shuma Gorath were, like, add-on characters. Right, back when add-on characters were still, like, a bit of a new thing for fighting games. And led people to think, oh yeah, they're gonna have a whole host of add-on characters for this game, right? And I was like, nope. We're just gonna put out Ultimate. We're just gonna put out all of the new characters in that game. And then people were thinking, okay, maybe they'll have DLC characters then. And they didn't. It was still just Shuma Gorath and Jill Valentine. Which I guess is for the better. You buy the game and you got yourself your complete roster of 50 characters. Shame they didn't show the OG Tyrant from Resident Evil 1 some love. That design was so good. If only they could have gone further with the concept of costumes, right? Because, yeah, that's one of the things they had. Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had like a whole bunch of costume DLC. Although the way it was treated in game was basically like another color palette, but it was like a substantial model overhaul. But yeah, Tyrant could have been like a Nemesis costume, right? If they'd done more costumes. I imagine trying to think of like 100 alternate costumes. If they were to do like a second alternate costume for every character in that game, might have been a bit of a stretch. Maybe it wouldn't have, I don't know. I'm sure the comics characters probably have a lot of outfits to pull from, and I'm sure the video game characters do too. It's just about putting them in the game, which still shouldn't be too much, but I can't really say anything on that end, because maybe it was. Maybe it was. Can never discount that possibility. That maybe it is harder than you think. Alright, round 2 of supercars. Let's get in here. And if they wanted to piss off players, adding Gil from Street Fighter 3. That was a boss rage fight right there. Feels like he could be like a Capcom side final boss if they wanted to throw him in there. I mean, they did put him in 5, so they definitely didn't forget about the guy. Though I guess at this point, JP is kind of like the chief baddie of the series, right? So probably give him some focus. If they were to make a Capcom versus game, JP would probably be the head honcho bad guy for the Capcom side. If not Akuma. Seeing as they ruined my boy M. Bison. Oh yeah, they did put him in Street Fighter 6, didn't they? I haven't touched that game in a while. I haven't gotten like the Season 2 pass yet either. I'll probably get it when it's on sale, if only for Terry and Mai and Elena. Which is like 75% of what they're adding, so I guess it's not a matter of if, but when. Yeah, as far as I can tell, they've mostly added just like a bit quest here and there. Obviously now you can meet all the new characters and become their masters and learn their moves and use them for your own benefits, but apart from that, it's not like they've done any major World Tour expansions yet. I know they added in like an alternate costume for the current characters as well. And there was a bit of a thing about that, because the costumes were like super expensive. I think someone calculated that buying all the costumes would be more than the price of the game itself, or something like that. Bit of a bummer for that, because all those costumes looked great. Give them time. They'll probably bundle up those costumes in like a discount bundle sometime in the future, right? They did that with Street Fighter V. Sure, they had like a bunch of costumes you could purchase piecemeal, but they eventually put up like costume packs on stores and stuff, and you know, they came out with like later editions that would include a bunch of costumes as well, so you know, maybe after year 2 of Street Fighter 6 wraps up, they'll just combine it all together and call it like Super Street Fighter 6 or something, right? Oh, and we're in ad mode. Have been for a bit, sorry. Yeah, it'll be a fun time. I hope. Also, Adon is missing from Street Fighter 6. He's always been a top-tier pick of mine. I forget, was he in Street Fighter 5? I can't remember. I know Street Fighter 5 was the game where they like had all the kind of out there roster picks. I know they brought back Karen and Birdie and you know, they had a bunch of original characters, but they also brought in a bunch of Final Fight characters and oh, and Gil, of course. You know, along with your usual roster of returnees. Missing since Street Fighter 4. Oh man, he was in Street Fighter 4. Been a while since I played it, so I can't remember the roster of that game. I guess it would be a prime time for them to bring him back, huh? Makes me slightly bummed that they're only doing like 4 characters per year. Because that's just going to be like fewer characters in general. And you know, I get that maybe, okay, you got like a big old powerful new engine with a completely new art style, so you probably have to put in some work to, you know, make all the characters look good and play well. You know, make sure the gameplay kind of slots in nicely with everyone else in Street Fighter 6, but hey, you know, maybe a leaner roster might work for the better for it, but still. Still means it's going to be a lot of characters that people like that'll probably be left on the table. And DLC is probably going to be a tricky balancing act of... Now that we know Street Fighter 6 is open to having guest characters, a tricky balancing act of, you know, having in guest characters, returning characters, and maybe if they really want to, like, you know, new original characters. His alpha theme was such a bop, and that updated version they had in Street Fighter 4 rocked hard. I bet it did. It's always nice when they update a theme of an old character, or, you know, just an old theme in general, and they do it justice, right? Managed to capture the essence of the original while giving it like its kind of a bit of a modern freshness to it. Makes it sound like a track from the present day, but pays proper homage to the original. It's nice when they pull that off. I can't remember if there's like any other themes that did that. I'm sure there were, but none come to mind at the moment. I'm sure if I had some time to think, I could probably name like a theme or two that was wonderfully updated. And Bison's theme has always been the same, just updated. Let's see. Ooh, I guess I could think of one. Akuma's theme from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I felt like they managed to update that theme nicely. Still make it sound like, you know, sort of a traditional theme that has a whole lot of menace in it. Right? Feels like something that would totally fit the guy. You see that guy, and that's probably the kind of music you'd probably hear in real life. Like they took Doctor Doom's Marvel Superheroes theme and remixed it for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Oh yeah, I remember. I actually got like really into that one. It sounded very spacey and futuristic, which I guess fits Doom because he's a bit of a technological terror. Oh, hey, end of qualifiers. All right, cool. On to the races. It's very club trance. It is. It is. You know, now that you mention it, I could see that fitting in a club, man. That's the kind of theme you could slow dance to for sure. Yeah, I'm just like imagining it right now. Just got that sort of cold steel aesthetic everywhere, right? Air conditioning's at full blast. You got that chill on you, right? The drinks have like the smoke coming out of them. They're ice cold and everything, and you're just like, you know, taking a drink and just having yourself a nice chill time there. Somewhere in a club in Berlin, people are dancing to that. I wouldn't be surprised if they were, right? Some fella out there is making a living playing those trance-like video game tracks, mixing them up and everything. Streets of Rage soundtrack is prime dance club music. You're so right about that. I'm pretty sure Yuzo, the composer, Yuzo Koshiro, is like actually a... Or maybe that's just like his style, right? His style is just like making tracks that are very dance-like. Because that guy composes music for other games too, I think. He does, Etrian Odyssey and Seventh Dragon, I remember specifically. Right, you listen to like the Seventh Dragon 2020 soundtrack, and you start wanting to dance to it, and then you see who composed it, and you're like, oh yeah. Okay, now I see why I want to dance to it. Yes. Great how they played the Streets of Rage soundtrack in its entirety for the anniversary. Wait, did they just like live stream it? Just live streamed like the entirety of the soundtrack at somewhere? It's like I can catch this on like YouTube or something. Pretty rad either, and in any case. Because, you know, that's what people remember about it. One of the things, big things people remember about it. Also, was it like say the entirety of the Streets of Rage soundtrack, was that like every Streets of Rage game? Did this happen like before or after 4? I'm wondering, did they include like 4's soundtrack in there? Because I think 4 could probably have a spot in there. Like how Sega broke out the orchestra for Sonic's anniversary. Yeah, they did. I remember that. They had like the symphony thing online, right? It's like they live streamed that for everyone for free. For free. That was pretty cool. And probably no less anything, alright. Something Sonic completely deserves, right? Franchise as popular and as revered as that one. You know, no matter what some people might say about it, there are a lot of people who like Sonic and, He certainly deserves that sort of reverence. Ooh, thanks for the link. I will take a look at that later. Maybe put it as background music, right? When I'm working on something else, just listen to some wonderful orchestral Sonic tunes. There we go, another race done. I am excited for Sonic X Shadow Generations, though. I'm like, everything they've shown so far, all the additions, seem like they're trying to at least justify having people pick it up. Where it's not like they're just remastering it and calling it a day. Nah, they're putting in some extra stuff, some more stuff to kind of chew on there, which is pretty cool. Got choked up when I watched that Sonic Orchestra. All the nostalgia came flooding back. Then they've done their job. Alright, we're about to hit up the Formula C US Series, but gotta get through this GTC event first. The one thing I don't like about, like, the trend of, like, remasters and remakes is that for some companies, at least it's the bigger ones, when they put out the remake, then they delist the original, which usually kind of blows, because it's like, well, yeah, sure, maybe the new version does have, like, the prettier graphics and what have you, but yeah, there's some stuff about the old ones that, you know, might have some quirks about it that some people might like. You know, they might have some mods that might be incompatible with the new version, or the new version just might be, like, extremely buggy or actually worse off in some ways. Like, I remember when there was, like, a bit of a stink raised up with the GTA remakes when they came out, because they delisted all the old versions of the GTA games, and it turns out, like, you know, the new GTA games look like butt. And people were mad about that. So Rockstar was like, okay, we'll bring them back on our launcher. I was like, damn it, you were so close. And now, yeah, for better or worse, we're kind of stuck with, like, the butt versions of the remastered GTA games. If you want the originals, either you get the Rockstar launcher or you go sail the 7 seas. Bit of a bummer. Unless they walk that back, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I heard about that. Yeah, sometimes it's just a cash grab, and other times you can see the care and passion they put into it. It can be a bummer sometimes, right? It's great when it's the latter, but when it's the former, you kind of just, like, scratching your head. Like, remember when they tried to put out, like, Silent Hill HD, and those are, like, barely functional, or at the very least I remember people complaining about them having lots of crashes and lots of bugs that just, like, completely broke the game. And then on the flip side, you get something like, say, Crash, you know, Crash Insane Trilogy, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, you know, Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. Those that are remade from the ground up look fantastic, but still, like, have the sort of the gameplay reverence to the original. I saw that there was a rumor that there was a Crash Bandicoot 5 game that was planned, but it got canned. And I was reading, like, the concepts for it, and I'm just thinking, man, why did they can this? Like, not only was it going to be another Crash Bandicoot adventure, but it was gonna cross over with Spyro the Dragon. And you know how those two are. They're like, you know, the OG PlayStation platformer franchises. They're like practically buddy-buddy. That could have been something real neat, but Activision was like, nah, son. And everyone was like, what the fuck? Probably rightfully so, because, seriously, what the fuck? Or says something when Toys for Bob just like pieced out of Activision. They're like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. See ya. They got out of there. Good for them. Hopefully, whatever they're working on next is will knock it out of the park. I will probably support them because they've certainly proved they got the capability to make something good. Resurrect Cynosis. Or is that Psygosis? Their game library was top tier. Oh, Cynosis, okay. What did they do again? I want to say they did the one Chakram game, right? The Forever Warrior. I vaguely remember my older brother playing that game. Can't tell you much about it though, because that was when I was a little kid. Kind of funny we're talking about remakes and remasters because Destruction Derby, all the Lemmings games, Alundra, Blast Radius, G-Police, and the list goes on and on. Wow, that is quite a library to pull from, yeah. Someone did like a Cynosis remakes collection, that would be pretty rad, wouldn't it? G-Police. I feel like I should know more about that, but... Or at least I think I saw someone play a game similar to that. They did all the Wipeout games, too. Ah. Wipeout. Ah, man, there's another series I'm kind of bummed that seems to have been put on ice. If anything, we'll probably just get, like, another Wipeout HD every time a new PlayStation system comes out. They'll just keep on doing HD versions of their Wipeout HD game, because, hey, it's there. You know, all they gotta do is tighten up the graphics on every level and put it out there. At least we have Redout as a successor. Yeah, at least we have other companies, you know, other folks putting out their own takes on anti-gravity racing. I think I said this long ago, but there's another anti-grav racer I wanted to check out. It was like called Ballistic NG. The ratings on Steam for it are very, very good. I think I remember correctly. They're like either very positive or overwhelmingly positive, which is usually a good sign. You know, for a game that's like pretty old and still hold up to this day that well, maybe it's worth looking at. Even R-Type is still going. It is. I guess that's the other fun part when another game just suddenly gets a new game in the series. You're just like, oh, wow. Never thought I'd see the day. Yeah, like R-Type. You know what would be really fun if we saw like a new Gradius game or something. It'll probably happen. That's like the kind of thing that would be pretty easy to do. At least I think it would be, right? .3D Gradius would probably be a hit with enough folks out there. Same way R-Type is. Or if we just really wanted to get into the weeds there. Give us like a Thunder Force, new Thunder Force game or Raiden game. I think I've seen like a new Raiden game. I don't think I've seen much about Thunder Force though. I remember playing one of those games on Genesis like a long time ago. Of course I was a kid back then, so I had no idea how anything worked. Half the players don't even remember the OG R-Type. I mean, it has been a while, so, you know. It's only to be expected. I feel like some people forget that sometimes. It's like, yeah, like, you know, maybe kids these days won't know about things like, you know, say, cassettes or tapes, because they are like practically ancient technology by now. Of course, they would not have heard of them if they weren't actively seeking them out, or you know, didn't know someone who knew about them. It's just natural, right? I imagine when we were kids, we probably didn't know about, you know, tech from like, you know, the decades earlier. Just how it is, right? Of course, then you can, like, you know, tell them about it, right? Like, oh yeah, cassettes. Ah, man, they were this cool thing. You know, they had like this magnetic strip that would play sounds when you put it in a player, right? The player would read that strip and produce the sounds for you. It was cool. And you could rewind it and make all sorts of funny sounds. Back in the Amiga 500 days. That really is going back there. Oh yeah, I put on Twitter, but I was like looking up the other Atari Recharged games, and this wasn't like a collection thing like you would expect these things to usually be, but they were like games that were slowly released over the years since like 2021 or something like that. Seemed like they covered all the big hits, so you have like, in addition to Centipede Recharged, which I had played, you have like Missile Command Recharged and Asteroids Recharged and you know, other games like that. Admittedly, they seem to have kind of left off around 2023 with Berserk Recharged, but Still, it's quite like a substantial number of Atari games that got the recharge treatment. Unfortunately, reviews seem to be mixed among them too. Like, you know, some of them have like overall ratings of pretty good, and then some others have like, oh yeah, ratings are mixed for them. I'll probably play some of the more popular ones, to be honest. Like, I could probably make a stream out of playing, you know, Asteroids Recharged and things like that, right? Same way I did with Centipede Recharged. I was gonna say that the Nintendo Showcase had a whole bunch of other remasters coming too. Ooh, Hydrate! Yes, thank you for that. Actually, I have like a box of juice with me this time around, so. Actually, excuse me for a moment. I spilled it everywhere, so I'll be back. Alright, thankfully I didn't spill too much, and please do not worry, Moo Moo Goo. Thank you for the hydrate. It was not your fault. That was on me. Right? Like, gotta remember, if you got like a pouch or a box, don't squeeze it too hard. That's on me. That's not you. Do thank you for the hydrate. Ah, it's a good thing I got that in there before the ad break. Alright. We'll talk in a bit. To be honest, it was like just surprising overall. It wasn't even that bad. It's like, it's juice. Could have been worse, right? It could have been like soup. Could have been like a chalky milk. That would have been a pain to clean up. Juice ain't that bad. Sure, it's gonna be sticky, but just get it with like a wet paper towel and it'll be better. Can manage till then. Welcome back from Adland, everybody. Surprised nobody's ever made that urban legend game Polybius. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember reading about that all the time. It's like, oh yeah, the game that will leave you with nightmares. I think someone actually did make a game out of it. Obviously, it's not nowhere near as nightmare-inducing as the rumors would have you believe, but... and probably shouldn't be, but, you know. Alright, let's get into Formula C here, see what it's all about. We've all been there with Capri Sun, yeah. Sometimes you forget, right? Sometimes you forget. You forget that certain containers obey the laws of physics, and, you know, if you leave it with less space, then the juice has to go somewhere. The whole CIA conspiracy and all that? Okay. I don't think I've ever read that part. I only know of Polybius as the game that just gave you nightmares. But yeah, I guess it being a government conspiracy would kind of follow from that. What the actual heck? You okay, man? You need, like, any help or anything? Holy cow. Oh, maybe they already got, like, you know, road assistance coming by. I'm sure it'll be fine. Maybe the guy got too freaked out by Tree Man there. The legend says that the cabinets were put in by the CIA and people saw men in black suits and glasses at arcades. You know, that sounds like something that would probably be passed around at the playground, right? Oh yeah, there were these people there and they were just, like, you know, being weird and doing, you know, mysterious stuff. Oh boy, ooh, what were they up to? Ooh, who knows?
Okay, let's build up the speed and get on it.
I'm doing as best I can with these turns, man. Are there any other video game urban legends you can think of? Like any sort? Doesn't necessarily have to be like some big overarching thing. Maybe just like something related to like a minor secret in the game. You know how it is, right? The kid that just, like, spouts it out with the utmost confidence. Oh, yeah, if you do this thing, then you can have this thing happen in this game. I think it's the Pokemon one that sticks out the most with me. Like, I'm sure anyone who's played Red and Blue probably remembers all the stuff surrounding the truck. Oh, yeah, push the truck in and you'll find a Mew under there. Or there's a Yoshi in the game and you can catch him. You know, some of them ended up being like more true than the others. Oh man, okay. Lesson learned, don't get in front of another car. They will flip you the fuck over. Like, we all remember, missing no and item duplication actually was a real thing. What was also real was like the danger that would put your save in. Right, yeah, you pull it off wrong and you kind of sort of bricked your save there. So sad, too bad, all you can do is restart. You know, that was like on top of the other esoteric mechanics that are actually in the game but are never hinted at. Yeah, things like stat experience and probabilities for gender and yeah, things like that, or you know, ways to manipulate the RNG to get what you want. Now that I think about it, I think I heard like a rumor or two around the GoldenEye 007 game as well. I think that was like mostly related to getting all bonds. Unless that was like actually a thing. I can't remember if it was or not. But you know, it's in addition to having, you know, Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan Bond, you know, you had the Bonds based on the other Bond actors as well. I remember that big hoax of a dog animatronic called Sparky in FNAF 1. I guess that's the thing about the internet. They kind of let these rumors spread like wildfire. And if you get like a property that's especially popular with the right crowd, you can really get those rumors flying, right? By the time someone's debunked it, it's already too late. Everyone else already believes it. And hey, why would you ever distrust the internet, right? Like, lying on the internet? Who would do such a thing? Oh my. Oh, there was that other big one when, forget which magazine it was, but they claimed that, Sonic and Tails were unlockable in Super Smash Bros. Melee. Rumors were just flying wild when that came out. I remember that, right? It came to the point where, like, because this was, like, back when GameFAQs was a bit more well-traveled. Like, the guy on the, Super Smash Bros. Melee board had to put up a topic going, "No, Sonic and Tails are not in Melee, stop asking." One time where the admin had to step in and kind of calm everyone down because, yeah, the magazine is pulling a fast one on you, man. I think about it. Might have been an April Fool's prank, which makes it doubly funny. Because, duh, yeah, that would be April Fool's. That would be an April Fool's joke. Why would it not be? And, of course, Smash Bros. From Brawl onwards had guest characters, which kind of rendered the whole point moot, so, yeah. Although they never had Tails playable. It was just Sonic, but to be honest, Sonic was probably enough. Considering I think like most other series only have like the one guest character. I guess apart from Street Fighter, they had Ken who did play like Ken. I remember when Ultimate brought out the concept of Echo Fighters, and we were like, oh, that's a pretty cool idea. It's like, yeah, just have these characters that are like, you know, similar to a base character, but maybe superficially different, and you can just like have more like that. But I don't think they added like any new Echo fighters into the game. They just like kind of repurposed existing ones. There you got things like Dark Samus and Chrom, and I believe Lucina as well, and maybe some others like Daisy, but they really didn't push that idea as far as I thought they would have. There's that one that said you could shoot the dog and duck hunt. I vaguely recall reading about that, yeah. I guess Mortal Kombat was just like built for that kind of thing, right? You can imagine all the types of finishing moves they had in there were specifically there to kind of help the rumor mill go, right? It's like, oh yeah, if you put in this button sequence, you could turn into an animal and bite your opponent's head off. Sounds like a thing that would be too wild to be true, but then you would try it and they're like, oh my god, it actually works. And Bigfoot being in San Andreas, oh yeah. It's like, if it's anything, it's probably just like dummied out data. Oh, hey. End of qualifiers. Oh yeah. To the race days we go. Oh, second qualifier, okay. Alright, I might actually just like not do the entirety of the 10 minutes. I might do like 3 laps or so, 3-4 laps, and kind of solidify my position there. Probably good. Remember in early Mortal Kombat games, hidden characters would peek out from the trees in Living Forest? Oh yeah! And the way one of the guys would kind of come out from the bottom and say, Toasty! Or like how you can make a character fly across the moon in that one other stage. Or something like that. Yeah. Like I said, Mortal Kombat kind of put in a bunch of stuff that was designed specifically to, you know, keep that rumor mill turning. Keep everyone abuzz with talk. These days, it probably isn't as prevalent because, you know, if you don't have a lot of people just like posting their findings online right away, you have them like, you know, scouring the code to see what's in there and what isn't. Very rarely do you see a game that's specifically designed around, oh yeah, we're gonna have a community kind of spring up around it and try to kind of crowdsource the solutions and everything.
Good luck. Bring those tires in and push really hard on the hot lap. You can do it. See if you can grab pole.
Yep, you always see data miners posting about what's in the files in Forza after an update. Aha! You know, that makes sense, seeing it for Forza. And I think about it, it's like, yeah, you see that in other games too. I guess especially in the big popular games at the moment, like everything Hoyoverse makes. You always see someone data mine the new Genshin update or the new Honkai Star Rail update. Talk about, oh yeah, now we got stuff in the game about, you know, these new characters or this new event. Or I guess somewhat famously, Team Fortress 2. I know some people Some people love to scour through the code for that, and I remember some people talking about how, you know, they would put in stuff to kind of like deliberately throw data miners off the trail. Like they'll put in things that would go nowhere, or you know, like dummy data or like obviously joke strings or something like that, just to keep them guessing. It's funny to think about, right? It's like, oh boy. The two are like at a bit of an arms race, right? Try to hide the stuff they're gonna put in later, and the other side is just trying to figure out what might be coming later. We need more fun Easter eggs in games. I do miss that. Or you know what we need? Just like, you know, natural cheat codes. I remember, you know, games of the N64, PlayStation, Xbox era usually had those sorts of cheat codes, right? The ones that didn't just do like the silly things like make your head really big, but also did things like, you know, give you infinite ammo or invincibility or something like that. Either through like a password system or a button input, but they just let you have it. Would be nice. Yeah, none of this downloading a trainer to cheat. Yeah, if you didn't have like access to a Game Shark or a action replay or something like that, you could still you know, get something out of it that way. Actually reminds me. I think it was there was a Shovel Knight game that was also announced for during the Nintendo showcase. It's like the Treasure Trove DX or something like that, but one of the things they were kind of boasting about this new version was specifically like in-game cheats. And one of the things they showed off was like a big mode where Shovel Knight was like super huge. So that was pretty cool. They also seem to be like bringing back the features that were originally version exclusive. So like the things like the custom night and the Street Pass Arena from the 3DS, they're actually going to put in the game now. And they're going to put in, like, co-op, too, both online and couch, which sounds absolutely wild, but cool? Action replay was the thing to have. Got a lot of use out of my PS2 action replay. I imagine a lot of people got the use of their whatever sort of cheat device they had, right? Sure was a fun thing where you would just like salivate over getting that manual that came with the games. Like, oh man, time to look up the games I have and see what kind of cool things I can do with it. And, you know, and then the early days of the internet, you're probably scouring the internet too, looking for extra codes that you might be able to put in the games. Must have been fun. Oh, just remember the urban legend for the code input to make Clara naked. Oh, yeah. Tomb Raider. Yeah, that would be the kind of thing that would persist for that. Now I think about it, I think Dead or Alive had something similar too, right? It's like, I'm pretty sure, like, the nude code became like a bit of a meme, right? Any game that focused on the fan service, that was like, oh yeah, did you know there was a code, to remove all their clothes? Of course, you know, everyone being horny teenagers, they're like, yes, give it to me, tell me everything you know. It was a godsend for the likes of Need for Speed to counter the awful rubber banding, I can imagine. You know, that makes me wonder. That does make me wonder. Is there an interview with anyone who ever worked at like one of those like cheat device companies? I'm curious as to like what they do there. Like, do they have just like, you know, people kind of like testing codes out to see like which ones produced interesting effects, and they could try to like put a label to it. Did they have people like figuring out like what kind of what ways they could like program the cheat device to interact with the game to make it do funny things or make it do things you want it to? Because on our end, right, all we have to do is put in like this alphanumerical code, but obviously it like messed with the game data in a way that produced the effect you wanted to see. Never seen any interviews, no. I imagine that would be like a fascinating topic for a piece. They just have someone out there, like, try to track someone who ever worked at, like, Game Shark or Action Replay or Bleem or whatever, and have them, like, talk about, oh yeah, like, what exactly went into the process of, like, making these devices and figuring out the codes. And, maybe deciding on, like, what games you would kind of focus on making, finding codes for, right? That would probably be pretty cool. Probably like a good piece of, literature to have, like, at least from a historical perspective. Because I imagine that would be pretty neat for someone who wanted to, maybe get into, like, the inner workings of that kind of stuff. That would be pretty cool. I don't know, I always found that stuff cool, right? Behind the scenes stuff, like, oh yeah, what went into making things the way they were? It's always neat to read about. Some of those master codes were ungodly long. Oh, I forgot master codes were a thing. It's like the one overall code you had to input before you could input the other codes and make them work properly. My older brother had a Game Genie for the Sega Genesis, and he did actually have like the book that had the codes in it too. But unfortunately, like the only game that we had that the Game Genie had codes for was like it was like one of the NHL games, and like the only code that we could find that had like any sort of reasonable effect was like the accelerated timer code, or like the extended timer code. So it was pretty cool to like watch it in effect, but it's like one of those things where, oh man, I wish I had something for the games I played. Yeah, even before then there was a Game Genie for the Mega Drive. Oh, you still have your Game Genie? Yeah, I imagine it's like a probably like an important piece of history now. Imagine someone out there would probably be interested in that, at least from a historical standpoint. I remember the book had all the Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Sonic, etc. It was nice. It was nice when you found codes for the games you owned. It was such a blessing when playing the Jurassic Park game. I bet it was. A lot of games back then had the tendency to be very hard. So I guess it would make those sorts of cheat devices a bit more of a lucrative prospect, right? It's like, oh yeah, why wouldn't you want to give yourself an easier time playing this game? I think I mentioned this already, but there was another device that that I played with that was like pretty neat at the time. I saw an action replay for the DS Lite for sale on eBay for £500. Oh man. Of course, it would be a pretty hot item, wouldn't it? Both from a historical standpoint and from a, hey, I could use this to kind of, you know, cheat in the games I own standpoint. Also, a DS Lite action replay. Wow.
Gap to V2 is 7 seconds. That's what we like.
When was, like, the last system a cheat device came out on? I feel like you probably won't see them as much for the modern consoles since they are, like, online a lot. So it would be pretty easy for, you know, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft to pick up on that and give your console a nice bananation. Or I guess maybe these days you wouldn't even need, like, a device. You just hook up the device to the computer. Or you hook up the console to the computer. And, you know, never bring it online, right? Just keep it offline if that's the route you're planning to take. Their code website is still up and running. Hey, good for them. Some people still have need of that. Also wouldn't work with the likes of Xbox, because you can't disc swap like on PlayStation. Ah, right. Yeah, like the, the CD-based cheat devices did have a special CD you needed to put in first. And then you put in the codes, and then you put in the other disc, and then, you know, programming magic. And then you get cool thing or other game. I don't know, if I had to hazard a guess, that must be how the cheat device works. The master code kind of gives the device instructions as to, like, you know, which variables to affect, and then you put in the other codes that would kind of tell you, okay, this is, like, the values we want to set these other variables to. And then you, like, you know, swap in the disk, and then the modified code kind of does its magic and give you the effects you want. That would be my that would be my conjecture anyway.
Get ready, mate. Focus on those lights. Start thinking about protecting your line into turn 1. Green, green, green. Go, go, go.
Road Rash was so fun with the Game Genie hooked up. Secret bike went over 200. You hit something, you'd soar like an eagle miles up the road. That must have been fun. You just go so fast that you kind of break the programming in the process. Ah, we're in ad mode again. Enjoy the ads. If I knew the lyrics to Sounds of Silence, I would probably play it here. All I know is, hello darkness, my old friend. Which doesn't quite fit, because, you know, it's not dark out. You can see things. And we're back from the ads. Welcome back. But yeah, super high-speed thing is always funny to see.
Concentrating on the strategy, doing a great job out there.
I remember when someone modified Mario Kart to be like ungodly fast, and it was kind of wild just seeing them just blast through these tracks that you would be going by at like a much slower pace. It almost felt like they were playing Burnout in a game that wasn't designed to play Burnout style, right? Sonic 3 and Knuckles with a Game Genie looked like some Jenga tower. Yeah, good old lock-on technology. I know all the jokes about that, right? You stack on all like the Sega peripherals on top of each other and you get that sort of monstrosity of a system. Yeah, it's funny, they had like the lock-on tech only for that one game. Although, to their credit, they did make it work with others, right? You put in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and now you can play as Knuckles. And if you put in anything else, you could play the Blue Sphere game. Oh yeah, each one had its own power adapter. So not only was it a space hog, it was also a power hog. I'm sure that was like a legit electrical hazard. Like just having all that power concentrated in one spot. That certainly was not safe. Not as safe, I imagine. You need one of those cube plugs with the 6 sides. Probably need even more than that, especially if like those adapters were like the big old bricks at the end with the prongs for the plug. Yeah, outlet management. That's always a fun thing. Like, okay. Especially these days, imagine a lot of people have, like, plenty of electronic devices, and it's a matter of, okay, so what do I need to have hooked up a lot? And what can I hook up on occasion? Also, you know, you don't want to use every outlet. Oh yeah, and all the RGB cables for the CD and the 32X and all that. An organizer's nightmare, I bet. No wonder cable tidy became a thing. Yeah, all the cable organization techniques. Right. You know, get like one of those cable ties or a zip tie or a Velcro tie. Some way to kind of get the cable management going so you're not just sifting around that tangled mess of wires, figuring out what went where. And we did it. Race complete. Let's go. Alright. This... Okay, good. Those adapters would get super hot too. Oh, man. Always the worry, I bet. Just, the heat hazard, the fire hazard. Not just an electrical hazard. It was just the hazard zone. Oh, okay. It's the only one, but... Alright. I've actually been thinking. Would it be okay if I just, like, called the playthrough here? Because I feel like... It's been, like, you know, 3 months worth of kind of looking at this game, and I think you've kind of seen like what the structure of this game has to offer, right? Whole bunch of events on the calendar. You get out there, you drive, you have your fun, and don't get me wrong, it's great, right? What they do is fantastic. There's like a whole variety of things to do, but I think I've seen everything this game has to offer, and yeah, definitely going to be more types of cars, more types of tracks, but for the most part, yeah, I think do what you need to do. All right, thanks. Yeah, yeah, I think that'll probably be it for Project Cars. When the next Wednesday stream rolls around, I'll probably look at something else. There is something I've had in mind I want to come back to because, oh wow, I didn't realize they got an update. So maybe I'll do that, and then I'll think of a new racing game to play through from there. But yeah. Anyways, that's been Project Cars. It's great, right? It definitely, it's a fantastic car game. Like, damn. Like, you definitely get to drive a lot of cars on a lot of tracks, and you really, really can get into the nitty-gritty details of, you know, modifying that car, fixing it up, and getting it to the way you like. Right, if you need structure, there's a career mode. If you just want to kind of put some settings together and have some fun there, yeah, you can do that with the single race. And I'm pretty sure the online stuff doesn't work anymore, but I'm sure that was also fantastic, or what it was. Time for a change. I'll miss Tree Man. Yeah, I'll miss Tree Man too. But hey, he'll be there in the VODs, right? If we want to come back to him, we can revisit him in the VODs, right? But yeah. For now, I will call it here. So yeah, thanks to everyone who came by and hung out and chatted, and even if you just lurked, I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, appreciate the folks who do the hydrate redeems. Y'all are cool too. Y'all are especially cool. Have a good night. Yeah, you have a good night too. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, as I said before, this will be the only stream for this week, so nothing on Friday, nothing on Sunday. I'll be away, so you go have some fun yourself too for this final few days of August. And also no stream next Wednesday because, yeah, the trip is that long. So the next stream will be next Friday. And I will have a new playthrough started, so yeah, we'll be done with these one-offs we've been doing these past few Fridays. We're gonna start a new game, yeah. You'll see it on the schedule next week, so enjoy with that. Have a good time off, thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I get to see some folks that I don't normally see in person, so should be a fun time. Yeah. And I hope you have a good recovery. Yeah, I hope your shoulder gets better. Because, woof, yeah. Alright, let's look for someone in the raid. Let's see who is on. Oh yeah, I forgot. Let me put up some music. One more time, we'll throw on this playlist here. Have it do its thing while I see who I can raid into. September's around the corner. I imagine a bunch of people are probably like starting classes again. Everyone who's still in college or school probably have already started. Actually, I know a bunch of places kind of start like mid to late August. I don't think I've seen many places like do it after Labor Day. Got a few folks playing some interesting games. See someone playing Monkey Island. There, fella playing. Oh, Liza P again. Okay. Oh right, Risk of Rain 2. Yeah, Risk of Rain 2. They had a new expansion come out, Seekers of the Storm. That was one of the games I wanted to return to in the future, but I'm gonna play Seekers of the Storm first and check it out a little bit. You would have thought, like, I thought maybe the one time I would just like spontaneously play Risk of Rain 2 would be like a one-off, but then Gearbox is like, yeah, Seekers of the Storm is actually going to be a thing. Yeah, we're going to put out more expansions for Risk of Rain 2, don't worry. We're not just going to be devoted to returns. And that's pretty rad. Thanks. You're welcome. Oh yeah, I forgot. I should probably turn off raids as well. Do that. Considering I got raided like the past 2 weeks. That was surprising. Someone was just like, oh yeah, hey, here's this fella playing Project Cars. Why don't we go say hi to him? Certainly was not expecting it. Oh yeah, I saw like a few people play Fields of Mystria as well. I admit that game seems kinda interesting to me. Oh, you know what? I think found someone. Raided them before. Granted, it was like a while ago, so should be okay to raid them again, right? It's probably like an unwritten rule of raiding. If you haven't raided them in a while, it's probably okay to raid them again. Sorry, they're playing a game that's pretty rad. Probably worth saying hi to them. Okay. Mocha Lapin is playing Hades. Hades 1. Should be a way to wind down, right? Granted, I know, driving cars in this game tends to be pretty chill, but okay, maybe winding down for us, but for them, they're in a pretty intense situation. But anyways, let's go give our support to them, shall we? And raid message is going to be an extremely lazy one. There. If you're joining in on the raid, give them a Formula C raid, and if not, have a good well, even if you are, right, have a good rest of your week, have a good weekend, have a good start to your next week. I'll see you the Friday after this one, right? And I'll see you next Friday for a new playthrough. Look forward to it. Take care. I don't know if I'm gonna play Project Cars on my own time or not. I kinda sorta want to, just to get at least like one of those accolades on the profile. That would be a fun screenshot for Twitter at least, right? Alright, see ya.